Hi, I'm Krithika. I'm a rising senior at Thomas Jefferson High School, and today I will be doing a short interview with coral researcher and teacher at Thomas Jefferson High School, Dr. Kathleen Morrow. So the first question I have for you is, could you briefly introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the research you've done on coral reefs?
Okay. I'm currently a biology teacher at Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology. I teach everything from ninth grade honors biology through upper level DNA science and bioinformatics. Um, but for 10 to 15 years before I started teaching at TJ, I was a marine microbial ecologist. I got my PhD from Auburn University, and I was basically studying the effect of climate stressors on the microbiome of coral reefs.
Okay, that's super cool. So my next question is, what is your favorite coral reef fact and why?
Okay, so my favorite coral reef fact, I think I have to go back to the fact that I'm a microbiologist and I liked microbiomes. And corals are basically super symbionts. They are meta-organisms, and a lot of people know about their symbiosis with Symbiodinium, those single-celled algae that provide
Mhm.
food and color to corals. And if you don't, you'll learn about it in Chasing Coral. But beyond that, they also host this really diverse community of microorganisms, bacteria, viruses, archaea, protists, and in turn, those microorganisms support the coral from an immune system perspective. They provide a defense system to the coral and protect it. And I think that it's really fascinating to think of the coral as this really diverse community of organisms working together.
Yeah, it sounds complicated but fascinating at the same time.
Yeah.
So, as you know, coral reefs are facing unimaginable threats in this day and age, but what makes you optimistic for their future?
Well, I think there's a couple things. What makes me most optimistic is the fact that I'm seeing a uptick in the amount of effort people are putting into educating themselves, just understanding the the importance of these diverse and critical ecosystems, taking the time to watch documentaries like Chasing Coral, to understand how important these ecosystems are and how climate change is directly impacting them, and will impact them in our lifespan.
Hmm.
But I also have a lot of optimism for some of the new molecular and genetic technologies that are being applied to coral reefs, such as selecting for heat tolerant microalgae, heat tolerant, in turn, heat tolerant corals,
Hmm.
that may be able to at least rescue some of the structural integrity of coral reefs, which then support the larger macroorganisms that live on these reefs.
Right, right. So, research as well as outreach and action is important. Have you watched the Chasing Coral documentary? And if so, did you enjoy it? What did you think was good about it? Was it unique?
I've seen the Chasing Coral documentary a couple times and have highly recommended it to my students. I think it is one of the most beautiful documentaries from a videography perspective. I've never seen anyone document an actual bleaching event from start to finish.
Hmm.
So you can see something that is, I think, difficult for people to understand because it happens over an extended period of time. You never actually, you go and you either see the corals are white or the corals are living. It's very difficult to see that transition, and the
Hmm.
documentary shows you that. Um, and I also had the pleasure of working with Dr. Ruth Gates before she passed, and a lot of the documentary talks about some of the amazing work that she's done
Hmm.
from a molecular perspective to look at uh, studying and bringing more knowledge to the general public about these reef systems.
Hmm. Well, thank you so much for your time. That's all the questions I have, but that was very informative. I hope our viewers will get something out of watching this, and I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thanks for having me.